Assalamu alaikum everyone. In today's video we're looking at an MCQ relating to associations not for profit, which is dealt with in section 42 of the Companies Act 2017, and this particular MCQ is one which most of my students found confusing, and that is the reason why I decided to make one particular video relating to this particular MCQ. So let's get into it. The question goes as follows: companies like associations not for profit cannot pay to its members which of the following? The first option is remuneration, the second one is salaries, the third one is dividend, and the fourth one is all of the above. Now at first glance, what most of my students thought is that the third option, dividend, is the correct answer, and the reason they thought this is because in one of my earlier classes, I had taught them that according to section 42 subsection 1 subsection B part 2 of the Companies Act 2017, members are prohibited from being paid dividends out of the profits of the company. Okay, so let us first very quickly recall what section 42 subsection 1 subsection B part 2 says. So like I said earlier, this particular section of the Companies Act 2017 says that members cannot be paid dividends, and because of this particular section, what my students thought initially is that part number C, option C, is the correct one. Why? Because this option seems to say exactly what this particular section says. However, that is not correct, and the reason is that this particular section cannot be read alone in isolation. The point is that you have to read this section in conjunction with the other section, which is the next section basically, that is section 42 subsection 2. So section 42 subsection 2, that is, states simply that the license granted under section 42 subsection 1 is basically going to be subject to certain conditions that the SECP, that is the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, which we usually abbreviate to SECP and can also be called simply the Commission as it is addressed in the Act itself. So section 42 subsection 2 states, I repeat, that the license granted under subsection 1 of the same section, that is section 42 subsection 1, is going to be subject to certain regulations which the SECP is going to issue. So remember that there are certain regulations and there are certain rules basically that the SECP, that is the Commission, issues on a regular basis, and the ones that we are concerned with as far as associations not for profit are concerned are the regulations passed in 2018, and these particularly pertain to associations not for profit. I'm going to share a link to the website where you can find the relevant regulations issued by the SECP. These are pretty long, and if you are studying this course at an introductory level, then this may not be very important for you. However, it is very important for you to know that the answer to this MCQ is certainly not C. Okay, so the answer is instead D, which states that all of the above, that is remuneration, salaries, dividend, all three of these cannot be paid to whom? Members. Why? The reason is, like I said, that the license granted under section 42 subsection 1 to an association not for profit is further subject to additional rules and regulations which are basically issued by whom? The Commission, and those are stated where? In this document, that is the regulations 2018 passed by the SECP, the Commission, right? So these regulations contain some further rules to which associations not for profit are bound. So I'm just going to mention a few of them, and specifically in this video we're going to study the relevant rule which basically helps us answer this MCQ. So the answer to this is D. Why? Because in these regulations you will see that the Commission has specifically restricted the payment of any sort of remuneration or salaries if a person is a member of the association. Now you're going to say, how is this fair, right? Because common sense says that if for instance somebody is working for an association not for profit, then they're basically rendering their services to that association, right? So why should that person not be entitled to a salary, a basic decent salary, right? The answer is that what happens is that when you form an association not for profit, then remuneration is restricted, salaries are restricted only to those who are members. So for example, I, along with a group of my friends, form an association not for profit, and this particular group of me and my friends who have formed this association are going to be the members, that is the subscribers to the memorandum of association. And remember that we as members are prohibited from receiving any of these. So for example, I am a lawyer and I decide to provide my services, that is my consulting services, to this particular association that I have now become a part of. But remember that I am not just a lawyer by profession, I am also now a member of the association, right? So the issue is that being a member, I am prohibited from receiving any remuneration at all. Why? Because obviously remember that what happens is that there's always a chance of abuse. There's always a chance that I'm going to be taking a lot of salary because I formed this association, I was part of the formation process. So there is a chance that I'm going to be taking the salary for myself and I might not be delivering the services up to the level that I should be delivering. Okay, so let's consider an alternate situation. Let's say that a group of friends, 5 people, start an association not for profit, and like I said, since these 5 people have started an association not for profit, they are the members of that association, they are the subscribers to the memorandum of association, right? Now the issue is, like I told you, that if any one of these 5 people is going to be playing a role, that is providing services to the association not for profit that they have created, if any of them is going to do that, like I told you, they are prohibited from receiving any salary for that work, any remuneration. Remuneration is basically just another word for salary, but can include payment that is non-monetary. Let's not get into that for now. If you don't know what it means, just presume for now that this more or less means the one and the same thing, okay? Okay, so moving on, like I said, the group of 5 people that we just talked about, if they start an association not for profit, if 5 of these people are part of the association as members, then none of them is going to be allowed to draw any sort of money, that is, be it in the form of dividends, be it in the form of salaries or remuneration. However, let's say that I am now not a part of this association not for profit, and in my capacity, in my role as a lawyer, that is, I'm a lawyer by profession. So for instance, I decide that I want to provide my consulting services to this association. I apply for that job, they hire me, and in this situation, if I'm not a member of that association not for profit, then these 5 people who are going to hire me as a lawyer for providing some sort of services, so in this situation, I will be able to draw a basic salary and I will be entitled to remuneration for the services that I'm providing. However, I repeat, this is provided that I am not a part of the association not for profit as a member of it. So to conclude this short video, I just want to tell you that if you create an association not for profit, then remember that as a member, even if you are working for it, then you're not entitled to any sort of remuneration or salary or dividend. And in addition to what section 42 subsection 1 part B part 2 prohibits, that is the payment of any dividend to the members of the association, in addition to that, just remember that section 42 subsection 2 states that the license granted under section 42 subsection 1b part 2 is basically going to be subject to some further conditions which are contained in the regulations 2018 set by whom? The Commission, that is the SECP. So remember that these regulations contain this particular rule that we just talked about, that if you are a part of an association not for profit, then being a member, you're not entitled to any of these. So the answer is going to be D. However, if you hire somebody outside the association who is not a member of the association, then that person that is going to be counted as a regular employee like any other company has employees, and he or she will definitely be entitled to remuneration and or salary. Okay, so I hope this video was useful. I'm going to see you in my next video.